I'm basically Robin Hood. If professional artists were the rich and my art style and knowledge of art was the poor, then I'm basically the guy that's gonna be... Now, the reason for my sudden interest in criminal activity is my recent art block that I went through. You know how it is. You wake up one day only to discover that you cannot draw and you suck. Life has lost its meaning and it's time to give up. That is the coward's response to art block, okay? And I'm not a coward. Well, at least when it comes to, like, drawing. So I did what I usually do when I don't feel like drawing. I opened up my favorite app, Twitter, and scrolled through my favorite artists' profiles. This stuff is eye candy. I gotta tell you, I love looking at whatever this is. And that got me thinking, maybe if I had art that I liked looking at, I wouldn't have art block right now. This led to me forming a devious little plan. A scheme, even. A ploy, if you will. If you won't, then just a plan. Let me break it down for you. Step 1. Choose a couple of artists. Step 2. Steal their shapes. Step 3. Apply shapes to my own work. Step 4. Become happy. First one on the list is Ludolobi from France. Hot take, I actually do like French people, but only when they're artists. The majority of Ludo's artwork is just ladies with broken spines and cybernetic enhancements. The language of his shapes are based off of rectangles and ovals, which results in very lanky characters. And this lankiness enhances the squash and stretch that we see in his anatomy. It's like when your shears are too small to cut through something, so you just grab those really long-handled shears and then you can just snip through it right easy. It's like that. If you take a closer look, you'll discover a lot of angles that interrupt the flow of his organic shapes. This pattern is actually quite common with artists who combine metal and squishy flesh. That's because one half of the reference material is just robots and mechanical things like that, and it all has a lot of angles in it. These harsh and pointy angles are actually juxtaposed real nice with the softer and rounder angles of the human body. Now, if you take a step back and view his images from afar, you're going to notice something pretty captivating, pretty cool. The majority of his compositions actually follow a shape that he found while he was drawing the figure of the character. This technique is called blocking, and it's not something that I practice like ever. But in order to become a good thief, I needed to hone my skills. So I opened up my sketchbook and I got to work. Now, although the first couple of drawings were kind of bad, I eventually started to kind of get the hang of it a little bit, and I was beginning to have fun. Blocking, it turns out, is basically just taking the entirety of a human being and simplifying them into one shape. Once you have that shape, you just carve them out of it, like a marble statue. But whatever, that's enough nerd stuff. Let's start stealing. I want to steal his stuff. And by stuff, let's just say lanky, squash and stretch, interrupted shapes, and blocking in. Now, if you have at least one out of your two eyeballs, you're gonna notice that this actually sucks. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever drawn in my entire life. I legit got so depressed that I had to put my Generation 1 Apple Pencil down and go play Overwatch 2 with my buddies. Do you know how bad Overwatch 2 is? You know how much it sucks? You know how much, like, it's not a fun game? Oh, it was an assist! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I wanted that! I was doing my job!
I couldn't let her not.
1,500! I don't even have 1,500 damage yet! After getting absolutely diddled for 3 hours in casual lobbies, I decided to come back and work on the thing I was drawing, and maybe I could, like, knock out a good one. This time, however, I would scroll through Ludo's Twitter page and used whatever appealed to me as reference. That's when it happened. An overall shape was starting to form, a rough triangle, from which scoliosis evolved onto the canvas, adding some much-needed squash and a little bit of stretch, followed by this really nasty inorganic rectangle. It was all coming together. Finally, Ludo's style would be mine. My mimicry was perfect. His shapes were mine. His spines were mine. His women, they were all mine. And it's just Tracer. It's just Tracer with pink hair. Like, what am I doing? I drew someone else's character subconsciously because I thought it was me. And every I went through this, I was like, oh man, that can't be original stuff. It's just someone else's character. Just Tracer. Just go. We're just Tracer. You know, like, tell me it doesn't matter. Just tell me this is not a by accident. Unironically though, I am pretty proud of how this turned out. Overall, it does mimic Ludo's style pretty well, I would say. You know, it's got the robot part and the part where it's a lady. It is still my shape language though, heavily influenced by Ludo, but mine nonetheless. That's the biggest positive that's come out of this study. I've become more picky with my shapes, which means that I kind of like looking at it. You know, I like look. It's been crafted to me. Ludololobi is one Wendigoon analyzation of released JFK assassination files out of 10.
Teach me to take.
Okay, I've spent way too much time making this video. It's time to wrap it up with our last guy. Who's ready to see some thighs? Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Ryan Arm. That's right. If you like squishy shapes, if you love cute little girls. Wait a minute, that phrasing was wrong. If you are attracted to demon girls that are over 18, then take a gander right behind me. There is an artist who draws all of that just for you, and I found him. That's right. This time we're going to study someone who animates. Now, this is actually a strat because, as we all know, in order to eat, animators have to make money. And in order to make money, they need to be quick. And in order to be quick, they need to make sure that their drawings are very, very simple. That way, they can replicate them 100,000 times and make an animation. So, if you struggle with simplifying anatomy, simplifying silhouettes, or even character design, animators are the people you want to study. Stalk them, follow them home, and above all, trace their work. You can't post that tracing though. That would be against the 10 commandments of drawing, okay? That's not stealing. That's straight up theft. Anyways, what is it that we want from this guy? Well, his shapes remind me of jelly beans, and that's not a circle, which is amazing. We hate circles. However, we do love round objects. Reason being, circles are 360 degrees of uniform lines. Can't really be applied to that much anatomy. Like, not even the human head is a circle. Rounded objects, however, amazing. They're everywhere on the human body. Look at all these muscles. And this is a house of muscles. We love muscles here. Okay, I understand that when you're talking about shape language, you do say circles and that you want to use circles. You don't actually use like a 360-degree circle using like some kind of bean or whatever. It's never an actual circle. Every time I think circle, I have to be able to uniform stuff, and there's not really that much of a difference. Just think that when I say circle in this video, I mean the stiff shape, and when I say round object, I mean just the circular shape language. I'm just saying that because it works for my brain, and I'm the one drawing. I'm the one doing the drawing here. Speaking of drawing, let's hop right into it. Now, for whatever reason, I decided to do this on my PC, and for whatever reason, these lines would not be straight. They're just squiggling around. Pardon the self-glaze here, but I was beating that program into the ground, baby. I was drawing so good here. Like, I never draw like this. This is crazy. This is because I warmed up. I was doing warm-ups. I was sketching this guy. Oh, my goodness. I was a little too obsessed with this page. I gotta be honest. Take a look at it. Just look at it. I'm doing a good job, right, guys? I'm doing a great job. I promise I do not draw Gunnar art like this ever. I do not draw that. I am labeling it Gunnar art. No offense to the artist, but it just goes to show what studying can do for you. It can take over your mind. It can make you a Gunnar for a little bit. I will say, though, I could not be bothered to color this thing in Krita. No way. Like, I'm scraping by just barely with this line art, but color? If you want to color it, DM me on Instagram and I'll send you the Krita file. And if enough of you guys do it, maybe I'll just make a video where I just rate your colors. That's not cool. As someone who hates color, I certainly know what good color looks like, and I was not about to be doing it on this program. Anyway, Ryan Arm, I love you. I am deeply in love with you because these shapes, man, were so easy to grasp. All I had to do was sketch them a couple of times, and I got yours. I got your shapes. What I'm trying to say is you need to post more on Twitter because I want to steal your shapes more. Anyway, he gets 1 Giovanna out of 10. Okay, we can finally be done with this video. I'm so happy to be done. My art block, it only goes away if I bash my head in and just study. And I have to be a university student just for this stupid little hobby of mine. All right, calm down. Calm down. I am at my wit's end. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'm making more like this. Feel free to recommend any artists that you find really cool. I'm always on the lookout for people like that. Please check out my other video. It's way better than this one. This one sucked. Thanks very much. Bye.